Hey guys, it's Slave to the Games, and I'm back with Scum Day 3 information discussion. Now, one thing I'd like to point out really quick is that I do have another Escape from Tarkov video playing in the background. I apologize for that instead of having Scum, but however, as I've said in the previous videos, I do not have any means to get Scum gameplay or trailers yet. If you know how, please comment below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for support because I will be doing this daily all the way up until release, and judging on how much time that it's going to take and how many facts that are left, I'm going to be either switching to weekly or sticking to daily when it comes out. Once again, thank you guys for watching this, and I hope you enjoy. First of all, streamers who get the game early will not carry their character over to the release. The servers will wipe on release, giving everyone a fresh start. Sure, they're going to be able to have that bit of experience after playing it for those couple of days, but at least they're not going to be able to keep their gear and stats, so that's something to look forward to. In events, winning these certain events can get you sponsors, fame points, and other rewards, though not all of this will be implemented until after the EA phase. There's going to be ghillie suits, but they're not going to be implemented, again, until the EA phase, but at least we'll be able to have them. Weapon malfunction and degrading will be implemented into the game sometime after it hits EA as well. For an example, if you manage to find a scope for your rifle, you won't be sure if the aim on it is precise. That means you will have to test it yourself and eventually fix it, maybe on a shooting range somewhere on the island. Hint, hint. Hint. There will be tactical vests with inventory slots, and you'll be able to put a backpack on it, or at least on while having the tactical vest on, I'm assuming. It was wrote pretty weird, but that's how I put it together after reading it. There will be raincoats to help with the water. Obviously, if you've seen the videos, then you've seen this, and it's also been confirmed by a dev reply. Every piece of gear you wear affects your performance and stats by its weight and condition it is in. Vehicles are going to be implemented into the game after one of the patches hits EA. There won't be an option for quick travel in this game because that would create a lot of problems and chaos since it's a PvP and not only a PvE game. After you die, you'll be able to spawn near your teammates, but not close enough to influence any encounter that is happening at the moment. You'll still have to cross a certain distance to reach them, but it's not like you're going to be completely across the map or you have to run for miles and miles. You're going to be close enough to where you can get to them, but not too far to the point where it's going to be a drag getting back to them. Now, hunting is going to be in the game. You're going to be able to hunt various animals, cook their meat, use their skin to craft specific things, as well as use traps that are eventually going to be added into the game, as well as a skill related to traps. Wolves, horses, cows, donkeys are all planned for the game. And right now, wolves and horses are already in the game, and the riding part will be implemented later through patches. One thing I want to point out is that the guitar playing that you guys saw in one of the scenes was actually scripted, but they do have plans to add it to the game along with some special achievements connected to it. Maybe even a moral boost for your teammates when you play it. Now to the meaty subject of this, and that's going to be character effects. Basically what I did is I put everything I thought would be related to something that affected the character itself into this one category, and this is probably going to cover the remainder of the video, so I really hope that you learn something new. In the survival part of the game, you will drop your weapon when you get hit in the arm holding it. It's not in the game at the moment, but it will be implemented sometime after the game hits the EA phase once again. At the moment, there's only a visual effect. If you're playing an event, deathmatch for example, then you won't drop your weapon when you get hit in the arm because that would cause players to feel irritated since you get weapons with a lot of bullets when you join the event. When you don't have to worry about conserving ammunition, it'll lead to an uncontrollable shooting with a high chance to hit someone in the arm and thus making him drop the weapon he is carrying. And we all know we get very irritated at that. It's a feature in development and changes are possible that still need to be tested and added to the game, but you will drop your weapon. All skills requiring that hand for usage, melee weapons, unarmed combat, rifles, etc. will drop to a certain level until you heal the wound. You should still be able to use weapons, but it will be with a penalty. Something to the extent of you getting shot in the leg, you'll also get a penalty on your movement. You can rotate your head to a certain degree by holding the Alt key. Once you release it, your view and head will align with your body. For example, while running, you can look to a certain degree behind you to see if someone is chasing you. It's limited to the angle that would be possible in real life situations though, so you're not going to be able to do a whole 360 turn of your head. Depending on the amount of damage sustained, vision blur, color fading, bleeding out, and similar effects are enabled in both instances of gameplay. And this is not only just to the head as well. If you're hit somewhere else, you can bleed out and you can get color fading. Players in game are not going to be bullet sponges, and the easiest description for me to put this out on would be The Division. They're going to be realistic, if you can put it that way, where if you place your first and eventually second shot to the right area of the body, the person's going to die. Not to mention that it's not easy to tell from which direction the bullets are coming from, so you have a big window of opportunity to kill someone you manage to ambush. And one of the devs I saw, they wrote and quoted, "I can tell you from experience that when someone ambushed me in Scum, in 90% of the cases, he will kill me." So judging by that, it's going to be really hard to fight off somebody who ambushes you, because not only do you have to rely on sound, your probably tactics and awareness, and then also just yourself with the headphone you have, and then judging where they might be from the terrain you're in. It's going to be really hard to fend off somebody ambushing you. Now, concerning bad decisions, let's say you make a bunch of bad decisions, whatever it may be, towards either the health of your body or constantly attacking players. There's going to be a chain of bad decisions which is going to punish your character. It's not to the point that it's going to be impossible to recover, but it's certainly to the point that it will be hard and long to climb back up to where you were before, and then even further. Broken limbs are going to be a thing. You're going to be able to break your arms, your legs, and I don't know if you're actually going to be able to break your head, because that sounds weird, but maybe you can like permanently damage it until it's like healed by a doctor or something, or a med kit, or have someone with a really high level of medical skill, and you're gonna have like every now and then like faded vision. I don't know. I just know that broken limbs are going to be a thing. Wet clothes, as you guys have seen, are gonna weigh you down, but it's also gonna cool down your body, and if the temperature outside is low, you might get hypothermia. That happens if your body temperature gets below 35 degrees Celsius, more or less around that number. This kind of sickness is already supported in the game. There will be also possibility that you can get the common cold if your temperature gets below 36.7 degrees and stays like that for more than a few hours. You can be knocked out in this game, and this is something that's probably going to suck for a lot of players if they are getting attacked by someone and then get knocked out and then have to stay there. Your recovery rate for being knocked out is going to depend on the health of your body, so let's try to keep yourself healthy so that if you do get knocked out, you're not going to be sitting there for like 20 minutes to a half hour. Also, you do have to poop, and you can get uncontrollable diarrhea if you're not careful, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's going to stain your clothes, so let's try to take care of ourselves, okay guys? Now, for punishments dealing with trolls. If you go too far and you just snipe KOS new players 24/7, the audience will probably feel irritated watching you and will make Tech 1 send a group of bounty hunters after your character. It's kind of a way of, if you're gonna camp in one place for too long, if you're gonna constantly kill people or grief them or troll them, no matter where or how, eventually the game or the audience or the people or the fucking sponsors are gonna sit there and be like, okay, this guy, he's not doing anything interesting, so they'll send someone after you. But in my opinion, at the same time, there's gonna be people who like seeing the trolling, so I'm wondering how they're gonna balance that out. Because, I mean, say you're killing people, but you're doing that. There's gonna be people who are gonna sit there and be like, oh, I really love this, how long is he gonna be able to get away with this? And if he kills the Tech 1's bodyguards or the Tech 1's soldiers, what happens? Like, do they send more constantly until you're dead, until you leave the area? Like, what goes on with that? Can you kill them and that be it? And then there's like a respawn time before they can come back and send like 5 more, or maybe an even heavier class after you or something like that? Now, one of the most controversial ones I've encountered over this, and I've mentioned before, is death. Now, I'm gonna bring it up again because when you die, you can spend some fame points to keep a limited number of skills of your choosing and some gear, but not all of them. Which means that the character that respawned won't be quite as good as the one that died. Permadeath is not in anyone's interest since it's a multiplayer survival game, and this feature is still in the works, and only a light version of fame point system will see the first day of EA. It can be reworked based on the feedback of us, the player community, but at the same time, what's got me confused is I've heard so much about this and read so much about this that have been confirmed from one point to another by either devs or just regular people coming up with theories. But the ones I'm more interested in is the actual dev replies, and I've seen multiple different devs reply different things. Like, I've seen it confirmed in one way, but then confirmed in another way. So for now, I'm bringing this up again just so I can tell you, don't believe anything right now until the game comes out. The best thing we can hope for right now is that when it does come out, there will be a small penalty, and there we go. I'm not going to say it's completely free anymore because I don't want to sit there and say it's free, the game comes out, and it's not. So I'm going to say there's a small penalty, split it 50-50, and then call it from there. If it becomes free, then it's what I originally said. If it's not free, then at least I told you that it definitely changed. You can respawn randomly on the island at the last shelter or the sleeping bag you placed or close to your teammates. but not too close, like I said earlier, just close enough to not make it irritating. Now, for everybody who's interested in shelters or VR, these are going to be the last topics I talk about in this video. So, for shelters, tents are also planned to be implemented. There will be various ways from finding some or buying some with fame points to crafting improvised shelters. Also, netting is an idea, but it can't say it will come out at the same time when the tents will. Bases are already there, but you're going to have to make them operational. So basically, first you're going to have to clear them from the puppets, and the next thing is to find a way to start up the generator, finding fuel to get electricity. Then you'll have to mend, fix broken walls. And after that, it's up to you to how you will maintain them. This is for the large abandoned facilities, but they are looking into possibility to make a shelter base surrounded by walls with improvised tents and other structures. Also, at certain points, you'll be able to take over any house on the island. They are still working on the game mechanics here, but the idea is that you can claim a key, earn it, or buy it in the safe zone. Then you can use that key to lock any house you pick on the island. You'll have to close, barricade windows, doors, and set up traps to make it more secure, just to make sure that people will not claim the building and leave. These keys will have expiration dates. This will be either made in a way that you'll have to log on to the server once per week/month to keep house yours, or you will have to pay rent to producers with your fame to keep it yours. That way, they will make sure that houses will not be locked by players who have switched servers. Anyway, still working on the mechanics. All ideas are all welcome to these people. They are definitely taking in feedback from players, and any form of communication with them is most likely going to result in some form of an addition to the game. Now, some forms of stashes are currently in the works so that you will be able to store gear through the exact means are not confirmed. Like I said earlier, or in the previous video, it's most likely going to be a bank of some kind, or a box where you just throw it in your room, or something like that. Now, finally, yes, there will be a shooting range on the map like I mentioned, and you're going to be able to bring weapons and test them. This isn't going to be available from day one though, but from what I've read, it seems like it's also going to be a safe zone. So maybe you're going to be able to go there, test out your weapons, test out your different attachments, and be able to talk to other players while in this safe zone, and maybe debate about like which gun's better, or like what you do with your guns, or maybe just talk and hit it off as you're shooting the targets. But again, that's in the future. We'll see how that goes. And finally, for the last fact of this video. This one is VR. And right now, from what I've confirmed by reading and going through hours and hours of threads, is that they don't have plans for VR right now. They say that they don't have it because VR isn't in their sight at all really right now, but it doesn't mean it's never gonna happen. They do, however, have plans for looking into putting it on consoles. So we're gonna have to see what happens in regards to these. Maybe later on down the road, a couple of years after the game has come out, they will do VR, but I don't see it being here in the first couple years. Console-wise, I think it's a possibility since they're going to be making controller support for Scum, but again, we're gonna have to see where that goes. Once again, I thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you for being so okay with the fact that I don't actually have Scum gameplay or trailers right now, because yet again, I don't know how to do it. Please, if you know, send me a message below, and I will put it in the next video. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have that, so we're just gonna have to stick with the fact that I have Escape from Tarkov in the background. And then we're also going to have to stick with the fact that everything I just said is susceptible to change. Everything can change. We are still not at release, and anything up to release and even after can change completely from what I've found. Unfortunately, that means that these aren't really facts, but at the same time, they kind of are. Because at this moment, they're facts, because this is what has been stated. But like I said, tomorrow or even later today after this video has been released, it could be changed right away, and then everything I've said could be irrelevant. But just so you have a better understanding of the game, I decided I wanted to be able to share this with you so that you'd be able to understand just what this game was about, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. I'll be doing this till the game comes out, and even after that. See you in my next video.